Welcome back to the Football Tragics. Obviously, as you can see, there's no Aaron, there's no Campo, so it's left. There is Campo.
Excuse me.
There's no Aaron, there's no Morty, so it's up to me and Campo to run the podcast. Campo, how are you doing today?
I feel like Mr. Reliable now, here every week.
Yeah, I mean, we gave that nickname to Morty, and he stopped showing up since we gave it to him, so we might have to switch it around and give us a few nicknames. So
revoke it.
We'll see how we go. All right, so we're going to do things a bit different. We won't jump straight into it. We're going to go into TFT around the ground. So, Campo, we're going to come up. I'm going to ask you a few predictions here. We're going to start with, obviously, the World Cup qualifiers. First of all, give us your honest feeling on that potential Portugal versus Italy matchup, and not who you would prefer to go through, but who do you think is going to go through in the next round?
You want Portugal because you want Ronaldo to have his last World Cup. But it's not going to happen because Italy might have bombed the group stages, but they're the Euros champions for a reason. I don't see them not making the World Cup.
All right. Well, we're going to go through Part A, Part B, Part C. I'm going to ask you for your predictions and then who you think is going to go through from that part. So we'll start with Part A, Scotland versus Ukraine. Who have you got winning that tie?
Ukraine.
And Wales versus Austria?
We'll go Wales.
So who is going to the World Cup? Is it going to be Ukraine or is it going to be Wales?
Wales. They're going.
Wales. So Gareth Bale's going to the World Cup or is he too busy playing golf?
I'm thinking more Joe Rodon. He's carrying this time.
All right, moving into Part B, Russia versus Poland. Who's winning that time?
Oh, that's a tough one. I will go Poland.
And Sweden versus the Czech Republic.
Sweden.
And who is going to the World Cup? Is Zlatan going to a World Cup or is he getting knocked out?
I think he'll get knocked out to Poland.
All right, so far we have Wales, Poland. We're moving into the big one. Italy versus North Macedonia. Who's getting through that time?
It's got to be Pandev and the North Macedonians, I say. Italy rolled them.
All right, and Portugal versus Turkey.
Oh, to be fair, Turkey can turn up. You saw in the Euros, they were everyone's dark horses at the start. But Portugal with Ronaldo, they'll get to the playoff final.
And obviously, we're sticking with Italy going through.
We're sticking with Italy.
Moment, you're a lot more confident than me. I'm shitting myself for these World Cups, and I'm not looking forward to these playoffs. So you're a lot more confident with me. All right, we'll move on. Champions League talk, Campo. So your surprise picks, your favourites, what you're looking forward to in the next round. What are we looking forward to?
I am really liking the look of Ajax. In a very, I wouldn't say it was a difficult group. You had Dortmund, Sporting Lisbon, who finished second. They won every game comfortably. Sebastian Haller looks like prime Ronaldo up top at the moment. I think he's scored more than Lewandowski now in the Champions League.
Yeah, I think he's the top goal scorer. I think he's even scored more goals than a lot of clubs that are actually playing in the Champions League. So he is on form, and I think West Ham's biting themselves for not keeping him at their club.
Erik ten Hag has just got that team playing phenomenal football. Also, you can't look past Liverpool. I think based on pure form, Liverpool are the favourites to win, in my opinion. Unbeaten, first English side to do it. Even playing someone, Tom Morton in midfield, they're winning games. It just shows how good their press is and they take their chances.
Well, man, I'm not going to give credit to Liverpool because they hurt me a little bit this morning, so I ain't giving any credit to them. What I do want to bring up is obviously Haaland. He's missed out on the World Cup. He's now out of the Champions League. Is he more likely to move after those two things now? So if he doesn't make a World Cup, at least he's got that chance to go deep, say with a Manchester City, for example, in that Champions League.
It's hard because you want the best players going deep into those competitions. So for him, he will probably want to move to a PSG or like something that's going to be in the knockout ties every year. Where Dortmund, I can't remember the last time they actually made the knockouts. They just seem to, if they make the knockouts, they're out first round. And when you have a player of that quality, he's going to want to end up leaving.
All right. I haven't actually run this one by you, but I'm going to ask you one more question. Obviously, you're a massive Christian Eriksen fan. You love him from his time at Tottenham. What are your thoughts on two things? Obviously, his injury, his heart condition. He has been told that he cannot play in Italy due to doctor's cause. But I don't know if you're aware, they still have to pay him weekly while he's on a contract. So they're either going to have to terminate him and pay out his contract or continue to pay him for the next 2 years. What are your thoughts on that?
Good on him. They don't want him to play. You collect that bag, man.
But surely it's not Inter. It's not Inter. It's saying you cannot play. The World Health in Italy has come out and said, as per our rules, you're not playing in the league. So surely there's a way out of that clause.
You'd think so. Inter would find it. Sorry, my dog's going absolutely insane right now. You'd think they would try and fight it, but he was a good player for him. You know, unlucky to sustain that kind of injury or for that to happen. Do you just keep him around not to play, but just to mentor the younger ones coming through? I don't know.
I can tell you right now, we just got up about 50% viewership from teenage girls after seeing a puppy on the podcast. They're absolutely buzzing. I can now see your whole house. We're going around in circles.
My dog is an absolute menace today. Wow.
We'll move on to what everyone we hope is here for. Obviously, we are getting ready for Matchday 16. So there are the fixtures on the screen. We have Brentford taking on Watford, Man City taking on Wolves, Chelsea versus Leeds, Liverpool versus Aston Villa, Arsenal versus Southampton, Norwich versus United, Burnley versus West Ham, Leicester versus Newcastle, Brighton versus your boys Tottenham, and finishing up with Crystal Palace versus Everton. So we will jump into that first game, Campo. Brentford versus Watford. What's your prediction and what's going to happen in this game?
We all gave Brentford praise at the start of the year. They've fallen off a bit. They have fallen off. And Watford, hot and cold, I think it'll be a draw. I think this is a very hard game to pick.
Are you going a scoreless draw, or are we having some goals in the game?
I'll go with 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. Obviously, we did post a video earlier today of, I think it was Andre Gray scoring that goal down in the championship. Mate, if I'm Watford, I'm bringing him back because if he's scoring goals like that, he can help us in the Premier League. But yeah, I find it hard to disagree with you here. I'm actually going to go 2-2. I think there will be goals. Both teams are attacking, but I'm going to stick with that draw with you. So we will move into the next game. I'm not sure if Campo's frozen. Okay, he's back. We're going to go Manchester City versus Wolves. Top of the league, Manchester City. Do they slip up here or does their form continue?
Nah, I said weeks ago they're going to start going on their run. It's just on to the other teams to see if they can keep up now. I can't see them dropping points here. I think it'll be 3-1 City.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting one. I think, obviously, given the loss in the Champions League, it's very rare that you see a Pep Guardiola's team go back-to-back losses. So I'm going to go 3-0 Man City. And if that keeps Liverpool off the top of the league for another week, I'm going to be happy days. So 3-0 City. We're in agreement there that they're winning. We're going to move into a game where Aaron would probably say we're going to win it comfortably. We're going to dominate. But it's Chelsea versus Leeds. Campo, give me your most, I guess, biased or unbiased. I don't really care. Give me your prediction.
It's hard. It's not hard. On paper, Chelsea win comfortably, but they have not been playing well the last 2 weeks. They scraped through Watford, and they got punished by West Ham. They have not been playing the best kind of football. Yeah, they've had all the possession, but they haven't been creating clear-cut chances. But again, Leeds' defense is probably the worst in the league, in my opinion. They can't keep clean sheets. So I reckon 3-0 Chelsea.
3-0. Is it safe to say that we're going to call it the Carrick effect and they haven't been the same since Michael Carrick had a crack at them and showed teams how to defend against them? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's not. But I'm going to go with a Chelsea win. I won't be upset. Well, I kind of will be upset it's Leeds, but I won't be too upset if they drop points. But I'm going to go 2-1 and I'm going to give a goal to Daniel James just because I've got a lot of love for that bloke. I'm going to say it every week until he scores, all right? So moving into probably the most interesting match of the weekend, you've got Steven Gerrard returning back to Anfield with Aston Villa. I feel like if there's a fight on the touchline in this game and it's Klopp versus Gerrard. Are the fans going for Klopp in this fight, or are they going for Steven Gerrard? I'm genuinely concerned here.
I genuinely think they will back Steven Gerrard.
All right, so I'll start this one. I'll kick this one off. Obviously, we have had that game in the past where Villa did upset their teenagers. Liverpool's come back and beat them afterwards. I don't see this going any different. You know, if Gerrard can go to Anfield and take points away, I'll give him the credit where credit's due next podcast. But I'm going to go Liverpool 3-0. I think they're going to have too much firepower. They're trying to pick up maximum points before they lose Salah and Mane to that African Cup of Nations. So 3-0 Liverpool. What are your thoughts, Campo?
I just want to pick Aston Villa just because I know Liverpool will still cheer if they lose because Steven Gerrard won. So I'm going to try and back it in, use, the universe here on my side and go with 3-2 Villa.
You know what, Campo? I think you just have to put your tips in for the first time in about 25 weeks and just pick Villa just for the sakes of it. It might come off and you might get that 2 points, but we'll move on. Obviously, I hope Villa do put up a good result, but I think either way here, it's going to be a cracking game. The fans are probably going to be sitting for Steven Gerrard more than what they do their own team this game, but it's going to be interesting. I'm sure we'll hear about it in the inbox with Morty and Borgie talking about that, but we'll jump on to another cracking match, Arsenal versus Southampton. Arsenal have found themselves in a bit of, I guess you could say, the mud as of late. They've lost to United. They've lost to Everton. Do they win the points here or do they continue to slide?
Oh, no. Just because they're versing Southampton, they should win. And Southampton are in a relegation fight. It doesn't matter if you're versing Southampton, they're not going to score more than one goal. Arsenal should be bouncing back here and winning 3-1.
So what you're saying is we're going to have a full credit to the Southampton boys if they end up pulling up a result here?
I said Arsenal should win. Southampton will win 3-0.
All right. I am going to go with Arsenal. I think they will bounce back. As much as Arteta's been copying that hate the last couple of weeks, he has changed in there. Few questionable positions that he can move around, but I'm going to go Arsenal 2-0. I think they'll have enough to get past Southampton. And like you said, even if they do score, they don't usually score more than one goal. So moving on to my boys. This is a team, Norwich versus United. I've said for weeks that Norwich offer nothing going forward, nothing in the midfield, nothing in defence. So it wouldn't surprise me if we somehow lose this game and I look like a complete idiot on the pod. But I'm going to go United. I think what we saw in the last game, the press after the coach said they only have a 45-minute session, it was unbelievable. It was a whole new look United. The team was playing for the manager. I'm going to go United 4-0. And I'm not going to be surprised if it's more than that. I think we roll them. We win comfortably. We play the youth tomorrow against young boys and we come out and we just dismantle Norwich. What are your thoughts?
I agree with you 100%. I can't see a world where Norwich wins this. After just versing him, they had 2 clear-cut chances and they bombed them both. Just their lack of firepower, lack of defense. I asked the boys this on the pod yesterday. If in 45 minutes that much of a change happened, did the players just stop caring about Ole's job?
I think to a point there was some of them that were like, we're over it, like we want him out. But I think it goes down to a lot of that formation. That formation was set up for United to play. But what shocked me the most was obviously our fullbacks. There was a lot less trying to play out from the back, which is where we've always suffered. The midfield, I've never seen Fred press more than what he has in the last 2 games. So I think it's a mix between, did Ralph have contact with Carrick and it's been more than a week? He's been implementing stuff in the training. Who knows? But I think to an extent there was some players that were just like, I'm Ole out. Just get him out of the club. We'll tank a few games and then we'll make our charge. So I'm excited. I know how you feel now when you got Conte in. I'm excited. You're excited with Conte. We're going to move on to the Pride of London, I'm going to call them, after last weekend. Burnley taking on the Pride of London, West Ham. Give us your result, Campo. Can Burnley pull an upset, or is it?
Nah.
Sorry. Can West Ham perform after Europe? Let's put it that way, and we see what happens. All right.
I forgot about that. They're playing Europa League. I think they've won their 5 games anyway, so they can throw out their kids in that game, which they should be. And West Ham should breeze past Burnley 2-0.
All right, Campo. It's a battle of the Antonios. Who's better, Antonio Conte or Antonio at West Ham? There we go. Who's better, Antonio Conte or Antonio at West
Ham? There's only one Antonio that's actually won anything, so I'll go with that one.
That is a big call. That's a big call. I'm going to go with West Ham. I think this is the game where Antonio can potentially re-announce himself as one of those big strikers in the Prem. I know he's been a bit quiet as of late. I'm going to go 3-1, and I'm going to give Antonio a double. So we'll see what happens. And I mean, I'm a bit biased. He's got the same name as me, so I'm always going to back him into the cows come home, as they say. So moving into another big game, the fall of Leicester versus the first win for Newcastle last week. Does Newcastle go back-to-back, or does Leicester win this comfortably?
I will go Leicester at home. Should be able to turn it around. They had a poor game against Villa. Deservedly lost. But if they want to keep this European dream alive, keep pressing for that top 6, top 4, whatever they want to challenge for, they have to start winning now. Any more losses, it's probably over for them to get that European spots. So they have to start making a run now, and it's a good opponent too. I'll go Leicester 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting. Like you said, they're going to want to play Europe. But for me, it just, I mean, you could probably talk more to it because you are in that conference league. But for me, it doesn't excite me. Like if I'm a Leicester, I'd almost rather not play European football, not have to play Fridays against teams we can't pronounce, and rest yourself for the league. So yeah, I'm gonna go Leicester only because, again, I want Newcastle to go down so they're the richest club in the world in the championship at the same time. But yeah, it's getting quite scary. Like a couple more wins for Newcastle, and we're going, who finishes higher, Leicester or Newcastle? So I'm gonna go Leicester 2-0. I got a lot of love for Vardy, so Vardy can have a goal, and yeah, someone else can score an own goal. Hopefully, it's like, I don't know who's their striker at the moment. Who's Newcastle's striker at the moment?
Callum Wilson.
Callum Wilson. I hope Callum Wilson scores an own goal just because he was a tosser with that celebration last week. So
yeah,
we'll move into. Haven't yet qualified out of the Conference League. So that's a big game coming up. Brighton taking on Tottenham. Now, Campo, I know you don't care about the Conference League. You couldn't care less if you get knocked out. But surely for the embarrassment of the club, you guys have to play a decent squad come Friday morning.
We can't. We have 6 first-team players with COVID. They haven't been announced yet, but it's reported Son and Lucas have it. I've seen behind-the-scenes reports. Not sure if it's true or not, so it's just wait and see. But we're in trouble. If 3 of our centre-backs have COVID, we have no centre-backs.
Surely if 6 players have COVID, they've been in contact.
I think it'll be the first year I'm not going to tip Tottenham. I think Brighton will win purely off. Yeah.
Can we get a score prediction?
I'll go Brighton 2-0, just for the fact that we're going to have no one.
Well, it's an interesting one because, I mean, who knows? Kane loves playing in the Conference League, so if he hasn't got COVID, he probably scores a few goals. I'm going to go a 1-1 draw. I haven't picked many draws this week. I'm going to go a 1-1 draw. And he's going to make it up to me. I'm going to say if he hasn't got COVID, Kane's going to get on the score sheet. So he's ruined my run of games. So he's going to score. He's going to score. You know what? He's going to score a double in the Conference League. And then he's going to come out and he's going to score that goal in the, let's go 82nd minute. And he's going to get you a point against Brighton. So we'll see how that goes. If that's correct, I'm officially quitting the podcast if it's to the minute. But we'll move into the final game of the round. We have Vieira Ball, Crystal Palace versus onside, Richarlison's Everton. How do you see this one going?
I think the hat-trick hero will back it up with another stellar performance. Might score 2 onside goals this week. I will be tipping in Everton 2-1.
So the hat trick, not so hat trick hero, is that who we're talking about, Richarlison?
Yeah, he's still, scores 2 goals offside, but to keep his head to score the third, that's what you want from your strikers.
I'll tell you what, I'd be filthy. I'd be asking that referee for the game ball. I'd be trying to take that home. I don't care. I'll put the ball in the back of the net. I'm taking the ball home. I'll
100%.
wrap it up. I'm gonna go Everton 2-1. I think they needed that result last week or this week. It was a big game. Yeah, I can just see Crystal Palace falling away, Everton getting the result, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, that will shake up a few spots in the league. We might come back here and Tottenham might have another game in hand if they do have those COVID cases. So we'll see what happens, but it's going to be an interesting week of football. I've been your host, Tony. Thanks for joining us, Campo, and we'll see you guys soon.
Peace.
Peace.